just a casual hang with 4-time All-Pro, 2-time Pro Bowler Justin Simmons. Justin, what did it feel like? Let's just start with this. Every team wanted you. Whenever free agency happened, there's not really a player every team is like, sign him, please, please, please. What did that feel like?
Yeah, it feels great to be wanted. That's always number one on the list. I feel like when you're in that free agent process, is you want to go where you're wanted and where you feel valued. And it was our first time really going through it, so it's different. But and so thankful we're in Atlanta with Coach Ra and the staff and everyone here. They do such a great job, and looking forward to the year with them.
I didn't get to talk. I didn't get to see you when I was down there, but I did talk to Terry and to Raw about how they sort of how they got you in, and it was obviously some dinners, some conversations. Jesse Bates a big part of that, and it's amazing to see so early on you two are part of a top 10 defense. How happy are you?
Yeah, it's awesome. They did a good job reeling me in at the dinner. Yeah, Jesse was there, Grady, AJ, obviously the leaders on the defense, and just talking about culture, right? And, when the main questions, I asked was like, when things get hard, what's the fire in this group? What does that look like? Because things are going to get hard. And I want to make sure I'm going to a place where like everyone wants it. Because in my 8 years, obviously this is year 9, I haven't been to the playoffs, and that's like number one on my bucket list right now. And I just want to play in meaningful football in December and January. So that's what sold me is that group and the want to itness from them and seeing how hungry they were. And so it's great that, obviously the first game wasn't what we wanted. Bounce back on Monday night. Got a big one Sunday night against the Chiefs here coming up, but really excited for our opportunity this season.
I've been saying it with that game you mentioned against the Eagles. At the end, if you're an Eagles fan, you thought you were going to lose because it's happened to them a lot. It's something that sort of has been haunting them or whatever. What is it about that last drive that did you feel like you were going to win?
Oh, 100%. And that's part of it, right? Like in choosing in free agency, like, this is a quarterback driven league. And so, part of the decision too is like knowing that, Kirk Cousins is here. And I mean, God forbid something happen. I mean, Michael Penix is here, like you still have options as a backup. And so, in a quarterback driven league, you want to be able to rest assured that like when you don't always get the job done on defense, the offense will pick up the slack and vice versa. And so, once we got that stop and we held them to a field goal, I knew, man, Kirk was going to go do it. It was just how much time was he going to leave us, on defense to be able to go back out there if we needed to, and things like that. So it was just a great team win, team effort. Really proud of the guys.
What stood out about Kirk on that drive?
I think it was everything that and I've never played with Kirk, played against him a few times, but I think it's everything. It was almost like it was like I was watching the game from the couch. It's the best way to explain it, right? Like I've seen him do that week in and week out, big time games, big time moments. And what stood out was his poise. I think there was this clip I saw, and I think it embodies this really well, where he threw the touchdown to Drake and he just like casually walks off the field,
he was scared to celebrate.
Yeah, he walks off the field, he gets to the sideline, takes off his helmet, and then then the emotion pops. He slams it, he grabs his hat. It's like, yeah, that's how you do it, And I just think that's his demeanor, though. He's so cool, calm, and collected, knowing what's expected, knowing how to get it done, and then gets it done and is not even fazed by it until a couple minutes afterwards.
What's Coach Raw like after a win like that?
Oh, he's the best. I'm actually really happy that I'm not a big fan normally of like the larger public kind of getting an inside look of like the locker room and stuff, just because the guys work hard to be in there. And I get it. There's an element of that where you want to get fans excited, things like that. But I am happy that the fandom in Atlanta got to see that moment with Ron, his first win as a head coach, because that's the attitude and demeanor he brings every single day. And like I felt that just at dinner, right? That first dinner I had with him, I felt that. And it was I don't know, there's just something about his charisma as a coach that just draws you in and you want to give a little bit more to the cause and a little bit more to winning. And you could feel that in that post-game speech. And he's just like, who's next? Like, this is great, but who's next? Let's keep this rolling. So,
I mean, who's next though? Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Kansas City.
a lot of people say, I mean, he's the hardest player to play against.
Yeah.
You are, let's just be honest here, you picked him off in 3 straight games.
Mm-hmm.
5 times in your career. I don't want to put the pressure on you, but what is the code to unlocking Pat?
Yeah. Pressure's a privilege. Yeah, I wish I knew that code to beating him a lot, right? My record against him's not great. Obviously it's a team sport, but that's not great. And yeah, he's really talented. He breaks all barriers of, I guess, like what it's supposed to look like week in and week out. Obviously he'll have the drives where he's in the pocket, he's making the great passes, but I was telling the guys this week, playing against him a bunch over the years, I said that the first 3 to 4 seconds of the play, I think we're going to be fine. They're going to have some schemed up stuff. They have really good players. Andy Reid's an offensive genius. They're going to have things going for them, but it's the next 3 to 4 seconds that like really matter, in my opinion. Those are the touchdown savers or the big play up for a defense, like interceptions, sacks, things like that, because he does such a good job of extending the play, and the guys around him, and you can tell they practice it because they do it so well that they just know how to find the open spot, open zones, and he just trusts them enough to throw the ball to him. And over my years, I've seen that week in and week out of having to prep and play against them. They're the best in the business at that, and it's tough to play against. So
it's almost like don't get too excited in those first. What's the lesson? Like finish?
Yeah, no, finish is exactly it. But it's don't get content with covering the first 3 seconds of the play, because that's not it always, right? Like he's a great scrambler. And so we have a good rush, we have a great front seven, but they're not always going to get home. Defense, like secondary wise, that needs to be the mindset is they might not get home. We need to be able to cover for 6 seconds, 7 seconds, and play that cat and mouse game throughout the game. Yeah, because he's done it week in and week out against the best defenses, against the best rushes, the best rush plans, whatever it may be. He's proven he can do that.
Yeah, I mean, Jesse's had success against him too, so I'm sure you guys are helping the secondary a lot to get ready for this game.
Yeah, there's a lot of prep. Having a guy like Jesse is huge. Yeah. I've always played with really good safeties, like Kareem Jackson, and there's a few others, and obviously Darian Stewart, TJ Ward. Mm-hmm. And having a guy like Jesse is, just kind of takes it up one more notch, right? I mean, you're talking about a guy that has 20 plus interceptions, in his just 6 career seasons so far. And so every year it just seems like he's elevating the bar, and it's great to be around that and to just kind of dwell in part of his process and get to pick his brain, because he gets it, and there's no doubt why he's so special here in Atlanta, and looking forward to continuing that with him.
Changing teams isn't always easy. A lot comes with that. You have Jesse, who's at least he obviously changed. Has a full season as a Falcon. Now he goes into this year, so he's probably pretty settled. And then this case of you and Matt Judon, I likened it to Brad Pitt and George Clooney, and in Ocean's 11, I was saying that's Terry and Rob being like, we need one more. We need one more. Let's go get one more to make it Ocean's 12, right? And that's adding Judon, adding you, but you joined later into camp. It's not super common. Do you feel like there's a whole other bar to be raised, in your own words? When do you think you'll hit your stride as a unit?
Yeah, I really do. I do believe in that. In a perfect world, I would love to say like now, right? Like I want to hit that bar now, and it's going to take time to put like a time frame on it. I wouldn't want to sell, the time short.
How will you know? How will you know that you are where you want to be? What will that feel like?
Yeah, I think it's just seamless, right? Like there's that transition of it's just natural, it's comfortable. You don't have to necessarily work harder at getting like the job done. And anytime I do interviews or anything referring to football and like the ins and outs and the game prep, I'm always big on communication. And so like right now it's a little bit of over communicating just to make sure that we're all on the same page. And when the communication's at an all-time high, it's almost like we all know how to work well with each other, that not a lot needs to be said. So that's when I know, is when like not a lot needs to be said. We all are seeing the same thing and we all can execute at a high level. And so that needs to happen on my end, because obviously everyone here has been here for a while. So it's a lot of work on my end, but I'm up for it. And I can't wait to continue to keep raising the bar for that.
You've Fifth All Pros on the way. Unbelievable. You've kind of done it all in the league. You've got sacks. If you look at, it's a very fun like Google search, right? There's pick sixes. There's my personal favorite is like blocking field goals. It's always really fun to watch. What is the play from your entire career that is for you the most rewatched on YouTube, if that were a thing? Like that you really, that's the play.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I would have to go with my first like game winning interception. I'll never forget it. We're playing the Raiders at home. EJ Manuel was the quarterback, and wow. I think Mile High. And I think for me, it was earlier in the season. I think for me, it was just like once I made the big play. Like there's making great plays, but it was the play that like won the game. I think for me, put me in a mindset of like, I can do this. Like week in, week out, when the big play needs to be made by somebody, I can step up to the plate and make that play happen. So for me, like high point the ball, like Amari Cooper was the receiver, like one-on-one, go get the football. Who's going to come down with it? I think for me, like that will always be etched in my brain is like the moment that I went from like being, just like the guy that's in the right spot at the right time to like the guy that's going to make the play. And so that'll always stick out to me.
I love hearing you say that. Maybe we're just manifesting a big play against the Chiefs. Who knows?
That's right.
I can't imagine what that locker room will look like if you take them down.
That's right. It'll be electric. Can't wait for it.
Can't wait either. Enjoy. Congratulations on everything. It's just always a pleasure to talk to you. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks.
By the way, wait, what a time to come to that division. You couldn't have come when it wasn't very good. Now you're here and it's like every freaking offense and defense looks like the top 5 in the league.
I love it.
You do.
I love it.
Such a perfect Justin Simmons answer. Bring it on, Pete.
Let's do it.
Thanks, Justin.
Let's do it. Thanks, Kay. Appreciate you.